play as a North American team. They like they're tanky. They're tanky heroes. They're late game.
Yeah.
GankStars, this is going to be like nothing that G2 has faced before.
Very unsurprising first ban there. Take away the Koshka. Get that out of the game if you're a European team. Arden, though, going to be the counter ban.
Yeah, very smart to take away the Arden. We've seen a lot of North American teams actually banning Arden away from the European counterparts yesterday, so it makes a lot of sense to see them, but it does mean Lyra is going to get taken off the table by G2 Esports, taking that away from GankStars, but GankStars very quick to grab that Grump draw once again.
Yeah. Quite an unsurprising pickup there.
Yeah, but the thing is, we saw Keanu's Lyra yesterday, very, very impressive, and using his bright ball work, he's got a lot of opportunity to negate the impact that Grumjaw will have in this game.
Yeah. Also, Lance would be available, but obviously with Lyra in the composition already, you don't really want to go for that one. Vox going to be banned away by GankStars. We did see a lot of that out of Hundor yesterday. What do we expect this extra ban to be from G2 here?
I would expect it to be targeted at perhaps Iraqi Zoro up in the lane, because you know that Grump draw is almost certainly going to go to Xenotech already. Get Iraqi Zoro off of his comfort picks, because when he wasn't playing something like the Gwen or the Vox, he really does seem to struggle. So actually that Vox ban by GankStars may come back to bite them.
And now we're in a situation where Baron kind of looks like a good pick for GankStars, but we already mentioned earlier, when they were picking Baron yesterday, it just wasn't able to work out. The Kestrel will be locked in.
They definitely did not look comfortable on that Baron yesterday, but that Kestrel was a good pickup there for Iraqi Zoro. He's got a lot of opportunity there just to be dealing bad damage from the backline. However, I feel like it does leave G2 very open to pick up their comfort picks. That Ringo's available, and so is that Baron.
This is also a really smart pick on that Kestrel, though, because it can go to Iraqi, but at the same time, they can flex this Grump draw down to Captain and give the Kestrel to Xenotech. We saw in day one, Xenotech and GankStars versus Tempo Storm. The Kestrel was banned every single game because both Xenotech and Hyde have some of the best Kestrel play in the league.
Well, I'm about to eat my words, because I said since they've got Lyra, they probably won't go with a Lance, but going kind of double supportive on this one.
It makes sense. We have seen Dark Potato playing a lot of this Lance in the Vainglory, and he plays a very interesting build. He likes to go for that on-hit with the Stormcrown, Tension Bow, Aftershock. It has a lot of impact when he manages to land those, and this could make things very difficult for that Kestrel if he's able to get on, and we have seen that Lance just being played so expert.
Celeste gonna come through. This one, I'm not crazy about. We've seen Hundor on the mages a couple of times in the regular season, and every single time, the narrative that we had after we got off those games, it was, Sweej, AJ, and myself, was just, why is he playing a mage? Because it just doesn't seem to fit his playstyle very well, but they've been playing a lot. They've been practicing a lot. Maybe this is something that they have been working on and have been saving for this final day.
I mean, it certainly has high sustained damage, and when you're playing with two very supportive heroes, you're going to need to be able to be dishing out the damage in those fights. Curious to see now the final pick for GankStars. What do you do going against such a defensive composition?
It's a tough choice for them right now. They could go ahead and grab themselves Adagio. It's actually almost surprising that Adagio is this deep in the draft without being touched, especially G2, they had the Lyra. They could have taken that double heal comp, but they opted to let it go through. I'm wondering if that's what GankStars are thinking about. They're using a lot of their bonus time, though, to make sure they get the exact pick they want. It will be Blackfeather, so this is a Captain Grumpjaw with the Kestrel in the lane, though, and now Blackfeather in the jungle, most likely, but they can still swap Blackfeather and Kestrel.
Yeah, and surprising to see two melees going into a Lance as well. It'll be interesting to see how that interaction pans out, but the draft is done with. We're about ready to get into the first game of our first semi-final at this stage. I'm going to ask you guys for the first time today, how do we think the draft has gone? Who do we think has an advantage?
Even though they picked that Celeste, I have seen this. If any team was to play that Celeste well, it would be G2, so I'm sticking with G2 here.
Okay. Just from what we've seen from Hundor on the Celeste, I have not seen enough to convince me that it will be the best pick for the situation.
Okay.
Maybe it'll prove me wrong, but for now, GankStars.
Well, both teams have picked compositions that perfectly fit their playstyles. This is really going to be a clash as we pass it over to our casters. It's Forecourt and Dowsy.
It's the clash of the Atlantic Munchables. It's NA versus EU. It's G2 versus GankStars. And
it's red versus blue.
It's red versus blue. We're representing Forecourt. Exciting matchup for sure. G2, the last hope of Europe, the only team to be here in Day 3, Championship Sunday, and they are going to be feeling the pressure of Europe on their shoulders.
Yeah, everything resides with these guys, the last hope, if you will. And, you know, 3 NA teams are at least getting an NA presence into that finals. But where will this series go? G2 and GankStars. It's anybody's guess.
It is anybody's guess. GankStars have performed so fantastically throughout this tournament. Xenotech in particular has stepped up immensely, became a god among men. But look at G2. These guys are calm, collected.
That is relaxed.
That is relaxed if I've ever seen it. Dark Potato ready to just bring his lance. It's a pick that in regular season he dominated on.
We saw a ton of Lance from EU in this whole split, and then this weekend it just kind of became this Grumpjaw show. Grumpjaw, Lyra, Lance almost seemed like few and far between, but we got that Grumpjaw here for GankStars, and they've made it work both days leading into this series.
Wow. Can you feel the tension drop? It is time
You hear a pin there.
full court for game 1 of this first semi-final. G2 versus GankStars. Onto the Halcyon Fold we go for this series.
All right, so G2, number 1 seed. They take out number 6 Immortals. Number 4 GankStars, though, like, can you perform? Xenotech said he wants to be on those carries. He doesn't like the utility. He's got that Kestrel.
This is a bit of an early invade. Rect going to be on that Grumpjaw. Xenotech bringing the CP Kestrel in to the jungle, and Araki going to be performing on this Black Feather. I think I prefer this lineup as far as the Black Feather Kestrel is concerned, as Araki Zoro is going to have a lot of tools available to him to jump on top of Hundor Celeste and really try and make that be a massive problem for G2.
The GankStars draft was just strong overall. Like, where's the Grumpjaw going? And then you saw that Kestrel, you just immediately think Araki Zoro, but they even flex that over to Xenotech. So this Celeste pick has a lot to prove there with Hundor, and we have got a lot of tools here for GankStars to kind of pick apart that comp.
Yeah, it's not what was expected. I feel like this is a curveball almost thrown by G2 as they all back away, get their early buys for themselves.
Three-man lane push early on. That's kind of a little bit new from these guys.
Usually what we see from G2 in the early game is that Hunter will move into the jungle and start hyper-farming his carry.
Yeah.
That's the norm. That is G2's play style. Farm for late and win every team fight once you get there.
But a little bit of a different start this time as well. So, like, Hundor, this Celeste, right? We've seen a lot of Baron. I think Baron's definitely a defining pick for him. But the Celeste pickup, you know, the analysts were perhaps a little bit dicey on it here. And then a new tactic early on. Maybe G2 has something of an ace up their sleeve.
Well, certainly Europe will be hoping so, as GankStars, they came the only team in the semi-finals to come from day 1, and they have fought the gauntlet. Tempo Storm caused them troubles in regular season, but not here in day 1. Team Secret almost upset the norm, but not there in day 2. Now in day 3, they are wanting to return to former glory that GankStars have known before.
All right, so other than just a little bit of a three-man action there early from G2 and trying to get a bit of push in, it's been a pretty dormant early game. Just a lot of farming going through. Xenotech into 3 crystal bits early on. You can see Araki Zoro as well. He has that barbed needle. We're looking for either that Shiv or that Serpent's Mask first. And Shiv is very likely going to be the top contender on this one. Kiana Nako and that Lyra is what they're going to be looking to counter out early.
The difference in play styles between these two teams is probably the most stark that we've seen the entire weekend. When you think European versus North American teams, you think early versus late. And I don't think you could really say anything different apart from this game. GankStars constantly making rotations, trying to find someone out in the jungle, whilst G2 are very content just sticking to their norm. Now they are starting to get the farm down. Hundor's been making constant backs, but managing to keep up as far as CS is concerned. Got 2 crystal bits and that heavy prism, a bit of damage onto Kiana Nakoa, but it doesn't feel like G2 are really wanting to fight.
Well, Araki Zoro's not following this one up either. He is just going to be focusing on that lane. You're right, Hunter has gone back a few times. He's just really building out those incremental items. And like Araki, I mean, he's sort of done the same. So yeah, back and forth. Not really a huge cash difference. GankStars forming out just a bit better overall. I mean, Rect has been able to absorb quite a bit.
Everyone grouping up into the lane. Xenotech going to show his presence. That's an impale though onto Xenotech. He is caught up, and that's going to be first blood going to Hundor. G2 strike first.
And Dark Potato, I mean, that Lance impale setting that one up. There's going to be a lot of crowd control available to these guys.
They're still going for this G2, wanting to punish, but the impale missing, or in fact dodged out by Araki, means that they will not be able to find further. Instead, a rotation over into the jungle here, and it is going to be Rekt attempting to secure that Treant, but not today.
Yeah, no fear there from Rekt. He might have been the first one to kind of throw a little bit of damage around, but you have the impale, the Githian, you set up for Hundor. If you have that core collapse, that is a good few consecutive seconds where you're not able to move out from anywhere. You're going to be needing to get some of those reflexes here soon enough.
Tension bow finished now here for Dark Potato. Shinyi on the desk mentioned he loves his on-hit lance, and it's something he's become famous for in the jungle, especially in Europe. Fountains a piece for both the teams, and Araki finishing his first item, a poison shiv.
You also see Hundor in the jungle, right? They are going to be starting to put more cash into him at this point. The sooner he gets into the 2-item, 3-item state, 10 to 12 minutes or so, Hundor is just going to be feeling real at home.
Dark Potato moving in, looking for some aggression. He really wants to find an impale onto a key target, holding the trigger. That's a lot of damage coming out of Xenotech's glimmer shots, something you have to be wary of. In level 6, one shot going to come out and straight into Kiana Nakoa. He does have the sigil, he does have Fountain. Heal's going to come out, but Dark Potato's going in. Impale miss. It looks like GankStars wanting to turn this. Kiana Nakoa pumps the Fountain, and G2 going to turn on Rekt. That's Rekt going down. They turn the fight. Will they go for more is the question. Dark Potato rolls forward. Impale ready. Will he strike is the question. It doesn't look likely. It is going to be a siege though starting. Those Hilo Genesis coming down, turning Supernova means huge damage to the turrets.
And once we hit level 8 with that Celeste as well, that's really where the minefield becomes super deadly from GankStars. It looked like GankStars thought they had that kill. Rekt did not expect to go down.
Yeah, not using that Fountain now. Xenotech caught out. Another kill going to G2. They are pulling ahead here, Forecourt.
That's 2 for 2 now, like just a little bit more misplay out of Xenotech. He might be a little bit rattled, might be a little bit nervous, but so far we have been seeing small mistakes leading into big things for G2.
Hundor moving into lane, they are just putting the pressure on. A huge one shot comes through right onto Kiana Nakoa, but this Lyra just does not care. Look at the health she's building up. 2 oak hearts in her inventory, going to be converted, I feel, into dragon hearts. This is something we saw Cote d'Ivoire from Impunity in SEA, Southeast Asia build, and what it allows for is a lot of healing coming out of the Imperial Sigil.
Yep, the health scaling was tweaked a long while back, and the more health you got, the better you can heal your friends. For it, Hundor, though, first item, not going to be a Frostburn. They're not going utility. This is all build up, and Dark Potato candidates lock everyone down. It will work out.
Flare out. They know where Xenotech is. They know where the traps lie. Dark Potato, his lands looking so scary, but stuff comes through. That's going to be Kiana Nakoa trying to catch up. Dark Potato rolls away. That's going to be the portal out, and they're safe for now. The heals with the sigil, the Fountain ready for G2. The fight for GankStars not yielding any response.
I just feel like the opportunity still being missed here from GankStars.
Looks like GankStars want to continue though. That's going to be Impale
Zeno
miss.
So far.
Zeno is far away, but Araki's in trouble. Dark Potato going low, but the Fountain will save him. And that's going to be G2 looking to disengage this fight.
There's no one shot left on this one. Xenotech's coming down low on energy. You're going to have to disengage from this one. Rekt has no stuffed, and well, Araki, it doesn't really matter too much about his energy, but without the supporting cast here, if they continue to just move this far forward, like if Dark Potato gets that catch, that could still be another kill over to G2.
GankStars looking, hunting. Dark Potato's on the menu. A good reflex block blocks out the trio.
Wow.
But G2, Dark Potato secures what is his and will not be allowing GankStars to steal anything.
All right, Hundor, 2 items, no Frostburn in sight. He's got Sustain under his belt. He's got an Infusion on top of that. Might not be a hyper carry in the biggest sense, because Araki is actually still ahead in the farm, but the cash difference and the build up here for Hundor is very stark. If you find these catches, Celeste is bringing that pain.
Gold Miner going low. Dark Potato has the tension bone, but it will not be secured. Wrecked with the stuff makes sure it does not happen. They're going to pop him straight into an active camo, and that's huge damage coming down. But Dark Potato's still alive. Sigil for the movement speed. That's the bright forward, disengaging the fight. G2 just seem to be on top of how to not die.
Iraqi Zoro, double sustain. We're not looking at a ton of bursts from him right now. Xenotech only the one item, and well, Wrecked, there's nothing really that past that stuff that he can do for this team. The rest of the setup is with Xenotech landing the damage, and the active camo, they finally did get that going, but it's just not enough yet.
Yano's in a bit of trouble here, taking damage, but look at the damage coming out of Hundo as we speak. Solar Storm rips on through, Impale onto Iraqi, he's rooted, but he dodges away from the Giffian War. G2 chasing, they have to be careful, the traps are laying down, but Xenotech doesn't have energy. Rose Offensive blocks it up, but they're still chasing on. Iraqi jumping away, he is looking for the grand escape, on point for the shield.
Nice.
Dark Potato, Impale missed. He is rooted to the ground, and Iraqi wants to kill. GankStars going forward. Wrecked is deep. Stop! That's the first to Xenotech, but he will fall. Wrecked to Kiana Nakoa. Hundo. Oh, whoa! That was so close. The scout trap almost takes Kiana Nakoa down, but indeed it's a 1-for-1.
The one shot I really did think was going to put GankStars ahead in that fight, but big props to Iraqi Zoro. He dipped, he dodged, he ducked, he got all the way to that Crystal Sentry. Look at just how deep we gone here with G2. They just cannot get the last hit on top of Iraqi. Dark Potato throws at the shield to stay alive. At the same time, Wrecked, he tried to make the plays on top. It was that 1-for-1, but getting back to that Sentry was huge for GankStars because they just had really no business of living that long.
This is an intense start to a game. The gold is even here for core. Both these teams are looking to make moves, but Iraqi is starting to hit a point where the sustain means he can sit on top of the damage, but when Hundo is dishing out 400 on a Supernova, you have to be very careful where you're standing. That's going to be Wreck diving in. That's going to be Kiana Nakoa caught up. Impale misses. Kiana Nakoa put out.
Wrecked.
Damage coming out, but it's just not enough right now. One shot flies out. Oh, that's half of Hundo's HP. That is a lot of damage onto him. He has to be so careful here. G2 wanting to turn, looking for an Impale onto a key target. Dark Potato will facilitate these fights for them. If he lands an Impale, then the damage will be huge. Root, Xenotech dead, Wrecked in trouble. That's Iraqi caught up, a double kill for Hundo, and Dark Potato chasing will not be able to find Wrecked.
Mistakes are being made here, Dowsy. Like, GankStars are just too shaky at this point. 6-1, the glass cannon of Hundo. Sure, he might have taken half his health, but that's the only damage he took.
Look at this, 2 turrets push for G2. Wrecked with the stuff, but it just means nothing. He is in so much trouble. Here comes Dark Potato. That's a Giffian War, but G2 going to disengage Hundo with no energy. A one-shot onto Kiana Nakoa. I don't think GankStars can chase, but perhaps they can get a gold miner.
Xenotech is basically glass in a lot of these fights right now. Like, there's a basic combo just not being hit. We have such engage available to GankStars. You go for the stuff, you have yourself an active camo, you stun up, you glimmer shot. That is how you're going to win a lot of these engages. It's just not happening. Wrecked is like either putting them out in the wrong positions, or Xenotech is hit. He can't get into the active camo, he can't put it down, or he just straight out dead. I mean, we're sitting on 3 items Hundo at this point.
It's a huge power deficit there as far as the carries are concerned. GankStars, yes, Iraqi Zoro has the sustain, he has the defense, but can he take down Hundo? He needs to be getting onto it. In his interview, the recap, he said that he was disappointed in his performance for Korn, but he was thankful that his team was there to support him. Well, he needs to be that man to step up if GankStars want a chance in this first game.
All right, 12 minutes in. Hundo, as we said, 3 items. He's basically that carry that they need him to be. Takes a one-shot, but Xeno has himself that second item. We have the Broken Myth, so the longer these fights go on, the more deadly he will become, but he has been traditionally just going down so quickly in these, so we'll have to see if we can get those stacks. We have some infusions out there as well, and Wrecked into finally that Crucible. Like, he did not go for that Crucible right after that fountain. He did go into the Vision, and, well, it hasn't been working out for the team so far.
G2 currently setting up a Death Bush in this Tri-Bush. The heals that come out of this Lyra, I mean, they can be very safe from Xenotech's onslaught of Glimmer shots. Kiana Nakoa, now that he has the Atlas online, can provide a fair amount of utility here for Court. Atlas onto Iraqi Zoro slows down the attack speed that the Black Feather outputs, means the sustain is less since he's gone for a sustain route rather than damage route, and tries to shut down Iraqi before Iraqi can blow up Hundor.
And Dark Potato is going to be well on his way to picking up that second Atlas on top of things. So if it's not Keanu getting that initiation, getting that Atlas off, well, Dark Potato is going to be in the thick of things as well. That's a really nice situation for G2 to be in. And there's really not a lot of damage here for Potato. It's all set up for Hundor.
Metal Jacket completed for Iraqi. He has gone for a defensive route.
That's a one-shot gone wide.
Expecting Dark Potato. Yes, one shot flies out, looking for a target, does not find it. GankStars, though, in a position where they are looking for an entrance. Bright Bullet goes down, Ret flies in, he's looking for a stuff. That's Iraqi onto Hundor. Dark Potato swallowed up, Hundor going low, heals are there, can they survive? Iraqi in the midst of it all as he rows offensives away, and Hundor has been dropped. That's Xenotech with one, that's Iraqi with another. Dark Potato now on the run, but Ret with a slow, ooh, Goofy and War, but the one shot to the butt, and that is an ace for GankStars!
Well done, GankStars. Finally, really tightened up on that initiation right there. Rekt was very patient with that stuff, and they take the Lance out of the equation. You might think maybe it's the Hundor, maybe it would have been that Lyra, but no, they hold on to it here. Iraqi comes in, and Xenotech is untouched. Nobody's even throwing anything his way. It's all on top of Iraqi Zoro. That extra armor, that extra shield doing him real good. The sustain coming through, and Xenotech, when he is not pressured, when he is not the one to get aggressed upon, he makes that damage happen. That's how they get the ace. They pick up a turret and a gold miner to boot, and they're right back into this.
Dark Potato needs to avoid being stuffed. I feel that is the key that GankStars have found in that previous fight. Without Dark Potato providing a front line on that Lance, a damaging front line on that Lance, then Hundor becomes so isolated. They're walking into a trap here, G2. GankStars looking to lay into them. Hundor trying to escape. Rekt is there. That's Hundor going very low. Solar Storm, but he's going low. He's trying to sustain. The heals are there. One shot comes out straight onto Hundor, but they're chasing G2. Rekt into the back line. He gets caught up in the core collapse. And G2 looking to find Xenotech.
1 and 2!
1, 2, 3! Xenotech finds the double, and it's a second ace for GankStars.
What a spread from GankStars. It really did not look like that was going to go their way, but Hundor consistently under fire, and Rekt really playing havoc with that frontline, backline disconnect. Like Dark Potato and Hundor just could not find the combos. They were too spread out, and GankStars with that sustain on Iraqi, the tankiness of Rekt, and Xeno off into the back, still virtually going undefeated.
Turret, Kraken, GankStars have taken over this game for Core. We saw that statistic on the screen briefly. 2 aces per game for GankStars. They have been very consistent in their play, and they've already hit that margin. Now, with a Kraken pushing into the base, attention bow completed for Iraqi.
All about
looking
that
for that
upfront.
on hit, looking for that burst. GankStars feeling confident that they can start pushing the base of G2.
Rekt into the treads here as well, so Iraqi's just going to be everywhere here, and as long as Xenotech can stay on the outside of these fights, he has really just become the champion that GankStars really need to be pulling this one forward. So, we do have that Kraken coming through. G2 very much on the defensive. We got infusions on everyone except Keanu right now.
Crystal Sentry coming on in. Will it fit involved? Doesn't look likely, but this Kraken is certainly doing damage here. Looks like GankStars are wanting to take this choke point, and G2 are just trying to eat away this Kraken. One shot flies out. Hundor, half his HP, but a good bright bulwark stops Rekt in his tracks, and that means GankStars can't engage just yet. He's charging forward. Good Crucible, that dodges the stuffed. That means that Dark Potato is in this fight. Kraken going low. Keanu Nicole's been stunned. Xenotech from the backline finds a kill. The first Vayne Crystal turret falls. The Kraken going low, but I'm not sure it's enough. G2 struggling with the defense. Iraqi onto the Vayne Crystal. Hundor trying to blow up Xenotech, but the Vayne Crystal is falling, and game 1 goes to GankStars.
What a phenomenal turnaround. Like, as soon as GankStars got their act together, as soon as the execution became flawless, that is where they started taking this one back. The last 2 fights, the stuff doesn't even go through, but it doesn't matter. The positioning really tightened up there, and GankStars came online after a very shaky start. Like Hundor, 12 minutes, 3 out of Celeste. That is normally a very scary situation to be in.
Big questions about the Celeste. The Black Feather shut it down, I feel, forecourt. But we've got the right guys for the job to continue that discussion. So over to you, Munch, and the analysts.
Thank you very much, guys. What a game. What a way to start off Championship Sunday. It was looking so good for G2, so good in the early game. But then GankStars, out of nowhere, just started winning fights like that.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be G2. We were sitting there like, oh, we need to start really calling out Rekt again for that he was easy comment. But then all of a sudden, 3 fights and the game's over.
Yeah, it was an insane turnaround. And Xenotech on that Kestrel doing a lot of damage, but Iraqi Zoro really stepped up on the Black Feather.
I definitely agree with you. I think the problem was for GankStars in the early game was there was a lot of crowd control coming out from G2. It was very easy for when Iraqi Zoro to dive in, they could stun him and just take him away from the fight and just focus him down. But the issue was, as we got into the late game, he picked up that Serpent's Mask, the Poison Shiv, which mitigated the healing coming out from Lyra, and they just couldn't peel him off in time because no one knows where Iraqi Zoro. There's also Rekt in there as well, and Xenotech the whole time, he was just being ignored.
For the most part, yeah.
And I think we have a replay of probably the most important fight of the game. This is when GankStars have just won 1 fight and then they go into a second fight as well. And I mean, there was so much going off in this fight.
Yeah, as we're going to watch this clip roll, you can see the way that GankStars positioning. You have Iraqi Zoro going in deep onto Hundor immediately. Some good damage coming out from the Glimmer shots, but you feel like as they get in onto this Crystal Sentry, maybe it was going to be troublesome. But again, the healing, and then somehow, some way, that 1-shot, 1-kill, no one gets in the way to block it. It hits Hundor in the face, and it allows then Iraqi Zoro to jump through, get the execution onto Keanu Nakoa, and then quickly turn to Hundor and take out that carry.
And then immediately get the Kraken as well, which was kind of the final nail in the coffin for G2. And honestly, it's such a difficult situation there because G2, they had so much sustain for Hundor. Honestly, I think Hundor took about 3 full health bars worth of damage in that fight. But then eventually that front line just was whittled down until it couldn't protect him any longer.
Yeah, it was a really promising area. They were fighting with the Crystal Sentry, it was helping with the fight. You know, they were doing a lot of damage and going extremely back and forth. But again, going back to the issue of Xenotech there, in the back line as a Crystal Caster, they completely forgot about the Glimmer shots. They're in perfect position there. It was so easy to get that splash damage onto all 3. And with the cooldown on the Sigil there, they weren't able to heal back out. They weren't able to disengage. The Crystal Sentry got shot down, and that was a moment where everything just deteriorated so quickly for G2.
Yeah, and honestly, phenomenal game from GankStars. And I think this answers a very important question in terms of their mentality. We were saying that this is a team that if they get behind, maybe struggle. We are into draft on this one.
The one thing I will say, though, is Hundor on Celeste looked so good for the majority of that game, which was something that we have not seen from him throughout the regular season. I mean, I said it in that first draft. I don't think it was the right pick because he hasn't shown enough on it. Definitely showed that he can play mages, and that's something that now GankStars are going to have to worry about.
It's clearly something that they've been practicing, but GankStars, the respect ban onto this Lance, which the Lance had a very strange build in the game as well.
Yeah, well, it's a build that used to be really common. I thought we were done having to talk about Tension Bow Lance. And it gets you a huge lead early on, which is what G2 had, but it just doesn't hold up as you get into the late game.
And really important statistic on the screen there, 70% win rate on Lyra right there, and it is going to be banned away by G2. But GankStars, they've secured Grumpjaw once again, and Koshka is still open.
Yeah, that's very worrying because we don't actually know if this Grumpjaw is going to be played in the captain role, whether or not it's going to be played in the jungle role. And if it's going to be if G2 don't pick up the Koshka or they don't ban it, then that leaves it wide open to be giving GankStars two very comfortable picks for them.
And especially because they've already banned away the Lance, that just makes it even stronger. So the Vox is going to get picked up by G2. That is the highest played carry for Hundor throughout the regular season. There's the Koshka ban as expected.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of trying to bait GankStars maybe into playing that Baron as well. Like not actually opting to go for that Baron style despite the fact that Hundor loves to play that Baron. They know how badly that went yesterday, but looking towards GankStars then, looking at this last ban, what are we expecting?
Well, Alpha. I think that's what we're expecting.
I'm not sure I was expecting that.
That was very surprising. Again, we've only seen that one Alpha game. You see the ban and pick rate, 3% because it's one game.
100% win rate though.
Yeah,
it was a good game for the Alpha. Like, let's not be around the bush.
It was G2 that did play it and played it very well. So GankStars just not wanting that aggressive jungler to come through, which kind of maybe gives you an idea that they don't want to go for a defensive composition.
Yep. Well, Finn would be a fairly defensive pickup for the side of G2, but Finn can cause a bit of a ruckus when it comes to engage as well.
Definitely he can. Well, it depends who you're engaged. If we see Grumpjaw running straight at them, if the Finn just stands straight in front of G2, it is so easy for him to land the quibble, but that is reliant on him reaching that level 8, the overdrive there.
Not only that, but not only does it make it easy for Finn to hit the quibble, but Finn can block Grumpjaw from getting onto one of his carries. When you use the stuffed, it's whatever target is first in line, and if Finn is body blocking literally for his teammates, he cannot be eaten because of his heroic perk, and so that makes actually Finn a very strong counter pick into a Grumpjaw. We'll have to see some creative angles come out from GankStars.
The Kestrel will be locked in once
angles
again, so same composition so far, and they have just 30 seconds remaining to lock in their final pick. Do we think that they're going to be trying to go for exactly the same style here?
I think we're going to be seeing this Crystal Kestrel. If you get that extra barrier from the distance, from the range of the glimmer shots. This way she does not have to go close to Vox or even Finn. And because Finn's so slow, it's easy to land those glimmer shots as well. And that makes it very difficult because even though Finn is extremely tanky, oh no.
We mentioned this earlier in the draft. It's a Baron. But Araki Zoro, will it pay off? Maybe yesterday was just a bad day. This is obviously something they've been practicing, or they wouldn't be putting this much focus on.
This is such a poke-heavy composition coming from GankStars. It's going to be absolutely relentless there for G2 Esports. I think they're really going to struggle to try and get onto either the Kestrel or the Baron. But if they can shut down the Baron in the early game, maybe that's their way in.
But at the same time, that means Dark Potato needs to pick up something aggressive here, something like a Glaive or really Glaive. That's one of the few options available to him to try and shut down the Baron. And Dark Potato is someone who Glaive isn't really huge on the radar, but he is going to go ahead and pick it up. They did play it again a couple of times in the regular season, but it's far from one of his most prominent picks.
We saw in the first game that it was G2 that won out in the early portion of the game, and they might have to do the same thing with a Baron on the side of GankStars. I'm going to ask you once again, guys, how do we think this draft is going? We'll start with you, Bacon.
I want to say GankStars, but I am similar to how I wasn't confident in Hundor on Celeste. I am even less confident in Arakizora on Baron, unless he has improved since yesterday. This one's going to go the way of G2.
Non-believer in the Baron. What about you, Shinyi?
I'm a non-believer in the Baron as well. Although I think GankStars do have a very strong early game with that CP caster, I'm actually still leaning towards, because G2, they've got their ideal double peel composition, so I'm going to stick with G2 here.
Well, we have a European desk here, but it's time to get into the second game of our first semi-final as we hand it over to our wonderful casters.
It is a interesting sign to see that our desk is swayed by G2 despite a very dominant late game for GankStars. Baron for Arakizora, he's one of the only North American carries who's played it regularly throughout seasonal play, but compared to a European laner, that's when things start to sway.
Yeah, it's definitely not encouraging to see that Baron come out, but they got a Grumpjaw to protect, they got a Kestrel there to kind of augment the early game lack, and it could work. I'm not going to say that it can't, but the Baron has certainly needed to put up a lot more numbers in NA for some confidence. Like, Playoff Beard is huge on the Baron train, but doesn't translate very well into these high levels, it seems.
We'll have to find out if the Baron is enough for GankStars. It is, of course, Hundor on that Vox, and Vox can go head-to-toe with Baron through most stages of the game. It's time now for this second match forecourt. G2 with fantastic early game, but GankStars brought it home. Let's see what happens as we jump onto the fold.
I feel like that Finn has been a little bit more overlooked this entire tournament as well, but you pick up that Grumpjaw first, a Finn comes out here for Keanu Nakoa, and well, you're going to have to be real on point with these stuffed here, Reg, because if Keanu gets in the way, you can't bring him into your belly.
GankStars going to be aggressive. There's a scout trap in this tri-bush, so G2 know, and so do GankStars that this is en route. What will G2 do though? Dark Potato is going to head back into his jungle, not going to look to try and get into his opponents. Araki heading into lane, G2 with a bit of a hard push here, but will be caught at this turret. Feels like GankStars won, not only, I feel like GankStars won the draft, but not only that, they've really dictated this early pace.
Well, we were trying to figure out, like, what would that last pick be? You know, you have Hundor there, you have Keanu with the Finn, but Glaive was definitely an option, but you're really going to have to make use of him early on. Bring down Iraqi, or at least hamper him so that he doesn't get into that late stage early on. And so we'll have to see if Dark Potato can actually execute that. Wrecked is a heck of a protector.
Ooh, Keanu's going to be stopped on his recall here, so that's actually a bit of a issue for G2, as that means a back for Keanu Nakoa will not come through until the next cycle. Item disparity can build up for GankStars, something they can look to abuse as well. Hundor coming back into the lane. It's going to be Wreck just putting the pressure on. He wants to try and force Keanu Nakoa into a position where the minion wave will crash into the turret and make Hundor's life a misery. Hundor has a minion candy, so G2 are going to use that minion candy to try and retake control over the lane.
Yeah, they're going to try to push that one out, see if Keanu can actually go off and spend. Dark Potato into a banner early on. You're likely not to see the same on the other side as Xenotech. Is pretty much all crystal at this point, but Dark Potato with the banner should be able to maintain control of his jungle if he does get hit up early on. I don't think Wrecked and Xenotech really chase him nearly as well, not until later on. Like level 6 comes out, might be a different story with the damage increments going out, but Dark Potato by himself should be fairly okay. Might get invaded every now and then, but he should not give up first blood or anything. He should be able to capture most of the gold there, which leaves Keanu into a protector role here in lane. And he's coming back with more candies on top of that.
He is. More candies, and here comes Dark Potato. They're looking for a hard push here to force the tempo of this game into their favor. Xenotech is moving towards the lane now as G2 prep for the siege, but they're not going to spot Xenotech. He's in Viz, and he's laying down those glimmer shots. Dark Potato takes huge chunks of damage, and that's going to be GankStars now charging forward. G2 have to be very careful.
If Wrecked finds Potato right there, Xenotech has an open line into him. They don't know he's there, though.
It's going to be Dark Potato looking for that Impale, but a jump jets, it knocks back. It's a Xenotech first blood as he pulls the active camo. It was a trap blade earlier on, and now he's looking for a second under the turret. Lots of damage, but he will be all right to step back here.
Man, Xenotech getting that first blood is a phenomenal start for him. Got to be careful on this transition.
Hundor playing with death there, tempting Xenotech in to try and get that active camo off. That's going to be Xenotech healing up, energy up as well, and that's going to be them securing another Elder Treant for themselves.
And Iraqi Zeros should just be able to fend this off. There's no more candies in the bank here, and Keanu's just too low. Like, he's not going to really risk moving forward to see if they can snipe out Iraqi Zero. So good stuff from GankStars, but Dark Potato just taking so many glimmers early on in that fight. Did force back G2 a little bit, and then when they did find the afterburn on top of Iraqi, it's already had the jump jets. Almost looked like he bounced off the Finn to safety. If that had not happened in that order, could have been a very easy first blood for G2.
Keanu Nakoa has started a protector contract, whereas Wrecked did not. It means there's a bit of an item disparity here, as Keanu Nakoa does not have the gold for a fountain, and Rhett has finished his own. A very early fountain for GankStars, and if they're able to force fights around it here forecourt, they will have a lot of healing available to them.
Keanu is not that far from it, but there's definitely a window here that Rhett can possibly abuse. We do get that level 6 in the next few moments here for Xeno, though, as well. That's another huge tool in the shed.
GankStars going in, Hundor, a lot of damage, the fortified health, helping him out here, but GankStars attempting in the fight. Rhett, afterburn, damage goes down, holds on to his fountain, and now Dark Potato's under fire. There's going to be Xenotech positioning forward. Keanu Nakoa going to try and body block. There's the Plight Company, they're trying to turn onto Xenotech. The fountain comes out, the hills are there, and Hundor's in the midst of it. A one shot, that's already a kill. That's a second. The level 6 for Xenotech, so huge, and G2 fighting where they should not.
Iraqi farming the minions, and then the kill, hits level 6. Xeno then throws out the one shot, makes it 2-0 exchange, and now nobody here to defend. This is damage on turret.
That was an intense match there, forecourt. Walk us through what just happened.
Like Xenotech just getting that big position. Again, that fountain, right? That came out huge. If Xeno did not have that fountain, it couldn't have happened. So Rekt, he held on to it long enough. He was able to get that healing, and that left Xenotech alive.
G2 just not respecting that power spike that GankStars had, and the smallest of windows forecourt, as you mentioned, abused by GankStars. That has given them a huge advantage. Shatterglass, Sorrowblade completed, and we still do not see that fountain for Keanu.
There we go.
Does finally come through as we say it. but we do not have tier 3s coming through yet for Dark Potato.
Yeah, Xenotech, though, picks up the Crystal. Iraqi has that Sora. It's matched by Hundor Sora. I mean, there's not going to be any attack speed on this one. No sign of a Shiv. Likely not to see one. There's no healers on either side. But Hundor, at least you said it, head to toe, he will be going right up there with Iraqi. But there's still a lot of power that Xenotech brings that Dark Potato has not achieved yet.
This is a great start for GankStars. With the Baron on their side forecourt, early advantages go a long route. The turret down, and it's a very big gold lead surmounting here. 3,000 at the 6-minute mark, and you can kind of see that G2 are starting to funnel their gold onto Hundor, getting those last hits. G2 has been doing this consistently during their VG8 split, and when they put the gold onto Hundor, they feel like they can carry any late game fight, but this is a gold disparity that they're going to have to recover from. 200 gold apiece with that gold miner.
All right, one shot goes out. Does not really catch anyone. Oh, they actually did catch Hundor there at the end. But wrecked into 2 items now at this point. And Hundor, yeah, getting that little bit of extra gold. This is what G2 likes to do. It gets Hundor into that better situation. You saw, the 12-minute mark, 3 items. That's a really good mark of a game for your carry. If you are that far ahead, you can really make work happen.
G2 trying to find Xenotech. They've got the afterburn into the wall, but they do not find an execute. Hundor's been swallowed up by Rekt. He's going to be popped into an active camo. He can't escape. That's going to be lots of damage. Keanu Nakoa trying to provide the stuns, but it's not enough, and that's going to be Hundor falling. GankStars moving forward, looking for another 10 seconds on the respawns, but Dark Potato with the afterburn going to get away. Keanu cannot. 2 kills go over to GankStars, and they are pulling very far ahead.
Keanu Nakoa, level 5. You saw the power difference with these levels coming in. We have a level 8 on top of Xenotech. We just hit 7 for Dark Potato. Like, base stats aside, not having a hook, not having just that tool in the shed there either goes a long way for these fights. The sentry is down because of it. That early tower went down. That did facilitate the kill. The pushback up against G2 on top of things, and the power difference is just absolutely real for GankStars. They are just really rocking this lead. 4,000 here at the 8-minute mark.
No Crucible for Keanu. No reflex block for Hundor means that Hundor is very, very open to being swallowed on up. It is going to be GankStars moving back into the lane, but if Rekt continues laying down those stuffed, it sets up the easiest active camo trap for Xenotech.
So let's talk about that stuffed as these guys are setting up. We've seen ridiculous combos from Grubjaws this weekend, most of them from GankStars, but the stuffed into Ion Cannon is really a hard-hitting combo here.
They can time it, which they can, then that is just someone
Timed it
dead.
last fight.
It's going to be GankStars moving into the jungle. Raki's very pushed up here. G2 looking to try and punish. That's going to be Healer Camp going to him. Rekt goes onto the back line looking to swallow someone up, but he's not quite found the target. Missed it on out. Doesn't matter though. G2 with so much damage taken. Keanu will hold on to his fountain. And it is going to be G2 not looking for this fight.
Fountain on both sides, but I would not expect G2 to be trying to chase this one through. You mentioned Crucibles earlier on, right? Rekt, he definitely has his there. It goes a long way for the wait for it, for that anchor to be coming through. We are level 6 now, and just ridiculous success rate this entire weekend. I mean, Rekt, 76% block. He is one of our top captains on the NA side of things. Like, I think really Gabe Vizzle can give him a run for his money, but he's just such a consistent player, and that block is just going to be working on all 3 of G2 because they all bring a crowd control that with the right timing can be defeated to a huge advantage.
One shot out onto Keanu. GankStars moving on in. Looks like G2 won this fight, and Iraqi takes a lot of damage. That's going to be a silence coming out. Fountain goes out as well, but they're turning onto Dark Potato. He's been swallowed up. Oh, the glimmer shots raining down. Active camo. That's Dark Potato out.
Wow.
And that's going to be a kill going over to Iraqi. Hundor trying to run from Rekt. It's going to be a double for Iraqi, and Hundor, he has to attempt an escape.
Find the
going to
triple.
try and get over the wall, but the crits are there, and Xenotech has it in easy, and ace comes through for GankStars.
Just Rekt coming down to the wire, but playing the disruption, keeping Hundor right away, just busy. And G2 not able to make anything happen on that one. As we come into this, the Crystal Sentry goes down. You got G2 getting pushed up on their turrets here as well. And Dark Potato, like, I don't think he can make anything happen there, but into the replay, right? You see Iraqi once more bouncing, it seems, right off Keanu Nakoa, gets back into a safe spot, and then Rekt in the front, they set up the camo. You see him popped right there. Dark Potato, not even a chance. Hundor has to go for the hills, and Keanu Nakoa just was not going to survive that one. Rhett comes down low, but it doesn't matter. Hundor is just not there in the fight. Araki and Zeno go right past that sentry, pick up that kill, pick up the sentry, and everything is aces.
And it looks like we're just repeating it all again. Keanu Nakoa is just getting denied, deleted out of this one, and wrecked. EU easy, he said, and he's rubbing salt into the wound with that taunt as well. They think they've got the mental game won here for Core. G2 are struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at a 6,000 gold between these guys. Look at the two weapon carriers, right? Very similar builds, but 4-0-3 compared to a 0-3 Hundor. We have really actually turned that statistic around for Baron and Araki.
Fight breaking out. G2 looking for the engage. A lot of damage down, but Keanu Nakoa's not in it. It's a 2 versus 3, but the Crystal Sentry's getting involved. Oh, one shot's going to come through. Araki very low. He's very low. He's going to go. Oh, he doesn't go down. An afterburn blocked out the stuff. That is an interesting interaction. And Wrecked gets denied. GankStars escaping. Can G2 get into position? Looks like Keanu Nakoa is just not fast enough. Araki gonna get the healing. He's gone. He's safe.
Can't see him. Wow.
Wow. G2 on inch of getting a kill, but denied. A perfect game remains for the GankStars.
I mean, yeah, that afterburn stuffed combo, that aside, GankStars just living on a dream, living on a prayer at that end of this game. Araki's coming back, but we are pushing.
They are pushing. Turret not going to go down. Keanu's going to lose his life for it if he's not careful. In fact, he decided it was worthwhile, the gold for his team. 300 apiece, it definitely helps with coming back into the game, but now they have to make sure they don't lose their lives in the process. Going for Dark Potato, afterburn away. He is safe for now, but G2 have to defend a turret siege, and a one-shot perfectly placed by Xenotech means Dark Potato's out of here. Hundor, he's trapped between a stealth. Whoa, the damage. And he will escape, but the turret will not.
An interesting decision there from Finn. He is big, he is slow, right? He needs a little bit more of a kick when it comes to movement speed. That is not war treads for the team. Dark Potato actually might be able to take up that mantle, but Keanu with the tier 3 journey boots, he is really looking just to make sure that he can keep up with the teams, but sacrificing himself for the turret. You saw that that just did not pay off at all, right? You don't have that captain in these fights. GankStars very rightly abusing that, pushing forward, getting that equal turret. It did not do G2 favors.
And I love this item build coming out of Xenotech. Look at the defensives of G2. You see very little shielding, only Dark Potato with some shielding. So a double Shadow Glass on top of this Kestrel means
look at
those
Araki,
glimmer shots are doing work. A double Tornado Trigger, they're going for doubles, but can they double their money with this fight? That's a huge pull-in, away for it.
Gosh.
G2, 1-2, looking for Xenotech as well. That's a double coming through for Hundor. They are very low, but Dark Potato's on top of Wrecked, and they are just going to disengage the fight. G2 find 2 kills.
All right, so maybe the item build's biting them in the butt a little bit right there from GankStars, but like what happened in that fight, really, they just came down to a very small area. Like the one shot already out the tool, that's a big problem for Xenotech, and then they all just kind of came down here. The big anchor puts them all together. Yeah, the Iron Cannon's good, but once Keanu starts putting them all together, you have that level 9, right? He has that stun. He had that anchor. He brought them all together, and that's not where Xenotech wants to be. It's not where Araki wants to be. They want to be far away from that front line, not in the middle of it.
So GankStars can bleed full court. We see it here. A very dominant game. G2 find an entry point. The gold now sitting at 6,000. Advantage to GankStars in just 15 seconds. My beautiful Kraken will enter the fold. A contestation point that GankStars will look to abuse as they start to position aggressively.
Okay, so with the Kraken coming up, these fights are just going to become more important at this point. Double Tornado Trigger Araki, only one weapon item. Weapon damage, I should say, with that Sora Blade. Like, the attack speed, the crit, that's great, but we don't typically see something like a double Tornado. We've actually seen a lot of double Monocles this weekend.
Double Monocles for the crit makes a lot of sense for Rocky. He is trying to just throw them out. Keanu with an anchor toss. Oh, that's a great Crucible coming out of Wrecked. And he is going to prevent his carries from being pulled into an awkward position. Now looking to go forward. That's going to be the stuffed onto Dark Potato. Hundor going to be put into the fight. Dark Potato trying to find an afterburn. He does go out, knocks it back. The silence comes through, and now they're on the retreat. G2 as GankStars start forcing forward. Hundor, oh, that's damage! That damage! Xenotech's out! Araki trying to escape. That's the crit. That's the attack speed, but Does he have enough? No, he does not! And it's a double kill for G2!
Xenotech, unfortunately, just gets melted right through as Hundor is able to finally bring some pain to these fights. He has some of that armor, but you can see the difference between the monocles and the tornado trigger. Like, Hundor just eliminated Xenotech out of that fight, and Iraqi was soon to follow. So as that Kraken is definitely going to go over to G2, we're coming back into this. Again, the one shot has already been used. The ion cannon goes wide, keeps everyone here, so G2 turn it right around, and Xenotech too far forward. They were chasing down this comp. Again, Iraqi to split one way, Wreck to the other. That's good play, but with him down as well, they have to deal with a Kraken.
Big one shot there onto Hundor will prevent the timing unless Hundor gets this healing camp. It does look like he will. So that is all well and good. The one shot will not be instrumental, but a Kraken now pushing down the lane forecourt, and they are looking to siege.
I would have
Oh, okay, Anchor toss blocked up. Crucible comes through. Wrecked, his success rate is huge on those reflex. Let's see if G2 can beat their Kraken push statistic. It's Wreck diving in. Hundor taking a lot of damage, as is Keanu Nakoa. They're going to have to retreat here, G2. One shot flies out.
Close.
Doesn't connect. A fountain to save the lives. This Kraken may not even get one turret if GankStars have the damage. But one more hit on this Kraken and it will go down. It is a small price to pay for G2. They do not win out as far as gold is concerned. 1,500 goes over to GankStars for the Kraken kill, whereas G2 get 900 for a single turret.
Yeah, one turret is typically not worth, but there's a silver lining, right? G2, last two team fights, despite being down in gold, are actually winning out these engages. 2-0, 2-0, they get a Kraken and a turret. So net-wise, like, the turret play might not look that great, but G2 are not done with this game. There's 7,000 gold between these guys, but G2 are making these advantages work for them despite those numbers differences.
Attack speed is on the menu here for Iraqi as he finishes a breaking point.
Fourth red item, yeah. I mean, I would have expected that breaking point way earlier at this game.
And an Atlas completed just now for Dark Potato to shut down the immense attack speed that Iraqi is pulling out. If there is to be an Atlas onto Iraqi, cutting down that attack speed, it is the center point of Iraqi's build and could really hurt his damage output.
Like, the damage output of Iraqi, again, like, ditch one of these tornadoes, at least that's how I feel, gets a little bit more damage, because if you do get hit by that Atlas, and we're going to get a double here with Keanu eventually, but Hundor is having that Aegis as well as the armor, and he just seems to be coming right back into this one, right? They can't kill him. On the other side, Xenotech is, well, pretty paper. He does have that tier 3 armor, but Iraqi, if he just continues to get countered like this, or they can't make the execution from GankStars, then he's going to be looking weaker and weaker instead of stronger and stronger as time goes on.
That crit will definitely hurt Iraqi. Hundor with an opportunity to really come up huge. It is going to be a one-shot flying out, but it does not find a target here for court. G2 just waiting, but there is a brilliant scout trap. And G2 know exactly where Keanu is. They're going to not even be found by that anchor toss, but now maybe they can look for an engage.
40 seconds left on it, though. I mean, Keanu's not level 12. It's not like we have 3 points into that anchor.
30 seconds. That is a long time for a crucial ability. Hundor in a bit of trouble, but it is going to be the Kraken started up, and it's going to be Keanu Nakoa taking the damage. GankStars are not wanting to fight here. They are wanting to make sure their energy reserves are in force as Xenotech finds a retreat for himself. The one shot not finding. G2 though, they are aggressive. 10 seconds on that forced accord. There's an active camo trap. They have full vision of it with a flare. GankStars instead just going for the race. Yeah, straight. They're forcing the fight here, and G2 have to rotate. That's going to be a scout trap spotting out that stun. In fact, it doesn't even go off as they keep moving forward. Can they find and engage is the question. Anchor toss available, forced accord. It's going to be one shot not finding anyone. G2 trying to get into position here. Hundor, he is a little bit isolated in case they didn't want to go in. Keanu, a lot of damage coming through. This is a non-extended fight. Stuffed, picks up Dark Potato. Hundor going aggressive, straight on top of 9 cannon, straight on top of damage. Hundor, damage coming out, but he has to be careful. Wrecked is on top of him, and Keanu Nakoa has already used the fountain. That's going to be a slow Hundor. He's going to struggle so hard to survive, and Wrecked looking for the 1v1.
Wreck gets it!
That's a kill going to Iraqi, and Keanu the last man alive. This could be crucial. If he goes down, then GankStars might just find a second kill themselves, and the double comes through for Iraqi.
Wrecked the god right now, making the plays, doing the disruption, gets the kill by himself, and with an ace, now moving forward. This is game.
This is game. GankStars, they keep true. It was a slight comeback for G2 towards the end, but a slight comeback is no comeback, and GankStars are going to go up 2-0 in this series.
There was a lot of talk from the analysts about G2 having the better draft, having just a little bit more in the tank for this one, but GankStars, very similar to Game 1, they didn't really seem to have everything under control. Game 1, they're early, but this time they're mid. Like, G2 was really on the warpath for a return, but wrecked. He's my MVP so far.
Look at the faces. It is distraught in the G2 camp whilst GankStars are celebrating. The desk got it wrong. It was a GankStars lead. What do you think of that, Munch?
Game. I mean, I don't even know what to make of it, Dowsy. That was an intense match, and I feel like, honestly, this entire series has been a treat so far. Both games, I thought that one was going to be much more one-sided, but G2 found a way back in, and GankStars finished things off strong.
Yeah, absolutely incredible showing. I mean, Wrecked coming through big on this drum jaw this time. 0 deaths throughout the entire game. There were a couple of missteps for GankStars there towards the mid to late game, but they were able to overcome it, and they were able to just really control some of these fights.
And I think it was all about his crucibles as well. The crucibles were really the highlight for me when it came to Wrecked.
Yeah, Keanu was trying to pull off those sneaky force, the cores from behind the walls, from behind bushes, but he was getting blocked every single time. And I think that even though Keanu did have some cooldown there, it was so important. And Wrecked, even there was definitely mispositionings coming from Iraqi Zoro and Xenotech throughout the game, but I think it really came down to Wrecked for keeping them alive, for using those fountains at the right time, the war tries as well. It made it so difficult for G2 to really try and come back. And like we said, they had a slight comeback, just wasn't enough.
So now we're in a position where Europe's hopes are against the ropes at this stage, and GankStars there winding up for a final punch. What is it that G2 have to change coming into this one? How do they go from these close games to an actual victory?
That's the question that, I mean, if I knew the answer to it, I'd probably be down on the stage talking to G2 right now as a coach, but it's so difficult to try and figure out, as we're going to take a look at this fight late in this game.
Yeah, so this is the final team fight.
Yeah, you can see, again, just the positioning across the board is just so good. I mean, there's really not much you can talk about in this fight other than how well GankStars were able to dodge out certain abilities, not getting really hit by that wait for it from Hundor, not getting silenced, and then able to just clean up.
Yeah, absolutely. And G2 off the back of that fight obviously ending up losing that game. And I mean, GankStars had a tremendous lead in the early game. What was it that partway through the game kind of swung things in the favor of G2 in the first place?
I think there was, so up to then, there was definitely points where GankStars were pulling off these really dirty combinations with this stuff, but then there was a point where I think there was a really clear team fight in my mind where we saw the Kessler just being a little bit too far forward. Dark Potato just really took advantage of, stunned her, and just prevented her from getting away. And I think that was a moment where they started coming back into the fight, coming back into the game. There was like 2 consecutive team fights where they were picking up 2 kills each time. Just not enough to pick up the ace, though, unfortunately. And I think if they had been able to pick up Wrecked, who was recognizing the opportunity to just run, then maybe we would have been seeing a completely different outcome.
So now a very important question, specifically for you, Bacon. Iraqi Zoro just got a victory on his Baron. Has he redeemed himself now?
It looked good. It did not look great. And again, if you're going to win the Unified Championship, all 3 players are going to have to play great.
Yep.
This time, they were able to still get the win because Wrecked was phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you can win looking good as long as one of your players is phenomenal or all 3 of your players are great. That's really the kind of standing that they're at. And, I mean, this game, I cannot stress enough how good Wrecked was.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we were saying as we came straight on into today is any of these 3 players on GankStars really can step up to the plate. And speaking of GankStars, we had a chat with them coming on into this tournament.
I think the biggest difference that obviously stands out for almost everyone at this point is North America being a lot more aggressive.
I would say like our biggest strength is probably like our team communication. Our level of preparation is really good. Like EU teams are easy.
I have a lot of respect for my teammates, Iraqi and Wrecked. They've both helped me a lot They both dedicate a lot of time. Now that there's a main roster, I'm a part of the main focus, and I think that it's benefited myself greatly as a player. My ghouls and ghoulettes, like, thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for supporting GankStars, and I hope to do you guys proud this weekend.
And there he is again, Rex saying that EU is easy, but honestly, 2-0 up in the series. They've not been the easiest games, but you can't argue with a flawless series score so far.
Yeah, and again, Rex kind of showcasing himself in that last game with the undefeated Grumpjaw G2. So that's enough of that. We are not going to let Rex take us down with a Grumpjaw again.
All right, so having seen the series so far, Jinyi, where do you expect G2 to go from here?
I would actually like to see them banning in that Crystal Kestrel, because right now I feel like they're really struggling to get on top of it, and when they do, it's not... They're trying to execute it, but it's not successful 100% of the time. I'll say it's actually successful like 20% of the time. And that CP Kestrel, I think, is proving a force a little bit too powerful for them to reckon with. The early game pressure is a little bit too strong. G2, the Esports, do not like that. I think I'm expecting another, well, Lance ban coming up from GankStars.
I mean, they're, again, giving respect to Dark Potato with that Lance. Even though he did go for that Tenjiro Lance in game 1 that wasn't successful, it's a thing you have to worry about because it gives you such a large lead that the rest of the team can then capitalize on.
All right, so Lyra is going to be the first lock-in here for G2, but Koshka has made it through the bans. Are we expecting that to be a 100% pick here for the likes of GankStars?
It should be. I feel like it's a pick that Xenotech can play really well. It is going to come out here, and well, now it's time for G2 see if they can deal with the NA Koshka.
Yeah, and with Lance banned as well, that's a difficult situation. In fact, Lance and Grumpjaw, now the G2 ban surely plays into the hands of GankStars.
It does. I feel like that we have a few options left there for G2. They could be picking up the Ard and just give that extra kind of boost and escape away from GankStars. And my issue from the last game was we saw Xenos had a very dominant jungle presence. If you compare the CS between him and Dark Potato, massive discrepancy. I'm expecting the same here. So even if G2, they're keeping even in the lane, if G2 lose the jungle, Dark Potato's in a very precarious position on how they're going to progress forward.
It's going to be a very difficult situation for G2. Currently 2-0 down in this series. If they want to be EU's shining hope, they have to reverse sweep at this stage. They are going to ban Adagio, so they're the only team that can have a healer in this one.
Yeah, very smart ban there from G2, sorry, just to make sure that GankStars doesn't get their hands on the Adagio. They are really trying to focus Rekt right now, obviously. Banning Grumpjaw, which he just played the last 2 games, picking Lyra and banning Adagio means Rekt is going to have to go deep into his hero pool, but I mean, he's definitely capable. He's definitely played plenty of other heroes. Unfortunately for GankStars, one of those was a Lance that he played a lot of, but Finn could still be a pick for them. The Glaive we saw on Xenotech, but it can also go to Rekt, so I like that pick here.
Yeah, the Glaive going to add to that aggression as well that we have from the Koshka, and now it's down to G2 to lock in their final composition to see what they're going to be bringing to the table. We've yet to see the Baron from them in this series. Could that be the fallback?
We could, but we're not going to because it's going to be a Vox, and I think part of the issue with that is GankStars, there's a lot of dive potential there with the Koshka and the Glaive. Having that Baron there with just the Lyra as a front line, definitely feel like GankStars, they're denying the picks away from Dark Potato to prevent that extra additional appeal coming from the jungle. And this is going to be very, very interesting to see what he's going to be locking in next, because Lyra, Keanu's so strong on the Lyra. I think no one can deny that. But Dark Potato, he's in a sticky situation of can they still continue with that double appeal presence?
Yeah, Dark Potato's hero pool is one that is affected heavily by having a Koshka on the other side. You know, he likes the Lance, the Kroll, you know, those kind of big tanky heroes. Ooh. There's going to be a Rhyme coming through. This could work very well into Koshka.
Yeah, the Ice Mage himself, we'll see. This is the first Rhyme of the tournament, I believe, so very late on in the day. But G2 pulling this one. We were talking about aces up sleeves. This could well be it for G2. We'll see whether it's going to be enough, because GankStars have been looking unstoppable.
I feel like there's going to be a Gwen coming out from GankStars, to be honest. I feel like this is more likely to be a captain Glaive rather than a lane Glaive, which is very unlike GankStars style. So having that Gwen there makes sense. Very strong early game.
Yep, so that is going to be the composition's locked in, and we're going to be going into potentially the final game of this first semi-final. G2, as I said before, against the ropes, holding on to this final lifeline. We'll see whether GankStars can put that final nail in the coffin. How do we think the draft has gone?
I'm just not crazy about Rhyme. I'd like it into Koshka, but Wrecked on this glaive should be able to constantly afterburn the Rhyme out of the fight, and Rhyme has a very difficult time getting himself back into the fight, having one of the slowest movement speeds in the game.
Absolutely.
I actually feel like the Rhyme would do very well. Sorry to disagree with you. I feel Gwen's range is very short, and once he gets into the mid game, he builds enough defense. He should be able to last within all three of them. And that Valkyrie as well, excellent tool of just controlling the movement of GankStars around the map.
Well, that's the opinions of our analysts. We want to know what you guys at home want as well. Use that hashtag Vainglory Live as we head over to our casters for the third game of this semi-final.
Game 3, as you say, Munch, and it looks like NA are celebrating early, but we'll have to see if this Rhyme pick is ready and prepped for this GankStars composition.
I'm with my boy Bacon on this one. NA, we stick together. The Rhyme feels like it could do work, but you get afterburn, you got to burn the boots, or you're just not going to be part of the fight.
Yeah, it is true. Rhyme has a very low movement speed. Koshka has one of the highest movement speeds, and Glaive very mobile as well. Gwen can attack from range. The Rhyme is definitely going to struggle to stick to its targets, but if a lockdown comes through, maybe a bright bulwark locks someone in position, and then the root as well from Rhyme, there's definitely chances for G2 to make it work.
I'm not writing them off, absolutely not. G2 could really just do a phenomenal turn back, maybe the return back into the series, but with their backs up against the wall, this is do or die time. Like, if this isn't a win for them, then they're out 3-0 on a very prestigious day.
It is Europe's last hope. G2 struggling in this series. Game 1 certainly looked good. Game 2, there was a shimmer of hope, but where there's been hope, there has been GankStars, and they have been very consistent this weekend. The dominance that they have brought through, truly looking like an award-winning team once more. A homegrown Vainglory org, a guild that has grown into a multiple esports title organization showing up here in London. It is time for Korn. It is time to see if GankStars can make it to their final here in London. Game 3 we come.
Now, we talk a lot about Xenotech, we talk a lot about, showing up, the best performances of their lives, but Wrecked, I said it last game, I'm still maintaining it now. He has really put the team on his back this round. He says EU teams are easy, didn't really prove that yesterday, but Wrecked has really shown up today. And that's hard. It's hard to find like those captains that can do those kind of plays and still get noticed. Like a lot of the time it's in the background. Like he is just setting up things and we don't really notice it because the big plays come out from the results of them.
Oh, Wrecked trying to steal away that Elder Treant, but it does go over to Hundor. Not quite able to make the big play just now, but he has plenty of time to prove himself worthy of that. Oh, that will almost went over.
If he stole that,
if he stole that, then it would have just been a complete success for Wrecked. He's looking for an escape here. He's just being a nuisance. Look at Xenotech rushing on forward.
Xeno's level 2 now as well. That's not something you see on G2. Nobody up in lane. Iraqi's is going to be able to push this one up if he really wants. Like, just one movement from Wrecked has kept 3 of G2 at bay.
Wrecked not able to steal any camps, but he's definitely putting the pressure on. Dark Potato wants to fight. He's got the boots. He's looking to pop them, but Wrecked, he speeds away himself, and there will not be any roots coming through for G2. Hundor now in the lane. This Gwen pick can definitely hurt the short range that Vox brings to the table. Keanu Koa has a very important role to play in keeping Hundor safe.
I'd actually say that Keanu has the most important role to play here for his team, but Xeno's going to find Dark Potato here early.
Good root does hold up Xeno. He takes a lot of damage in the process, and whilst he will get this Elder Tree at the heal will go his way, it is very close. It shows the power of Rhyme if he gets on top of you. Out of energy though, if he doesn't get this healing camp, he is certainly dead, and Xenotech is going to take it away. Here comes Xeno, looking for first blood in this game 3, and he will get it!
You can't leave Rhyme alone in the jungle, not against this early game squad right now. Like Gwen, Koshka, you're going to be looking at spikes here as early as 3 minutes.
Keanu Koa trying his best to secure the jungle for his man Dark Potato, but he's not able to. In fact, he gets pushed away. Wrecked just being a bully here. Dark Potato will come on and show Rekt here the door to the exit of his jungle, but there is nothing left. Xenotech has taken it all.
All right, so Iraqi Zora, like 3 to 4 minute mark, you're looking at a tension bow. Xenotech, if he does get into an aftershock somewhere in that range, like just past the 4 minute mark there as well, like G2 are just going to get bullied again and again and again. It's going to be up to them really to weather the storm, and that's where Keanu Nakoa is going to have to come in strong.
It is a tough start to this game, something we've kind of skipped over, not directly said for Koshka for Xenotech. This is a hero that can be the carry threat that Xenotech needs. Yesterday, when he played CP junglers, the utility junglers, I mean, he was not performing, but when he gets onto a carry hero, then he brings his team to victory. A 3.5 minute aftershock, and now we just have to see how much Xenotech can abuse that power spike.
Iraqi's going to go get that tension bow. Like, he has the cash, hands down. This is a pretty bad spot for G2, all things considered. There was a graphic earlier on as well. Xenotech, 100% win rate on Koshka this tournament. The NA win rate for Koshka by herself, I think, went like 17-0 in the split before we actually finally saw a loss. My boy Bacon will be able to back you up on that one, but the win rate with NA at high level with Koshka is insane.
It's a hero that they love. It's a hero that they've dominated with, and it's a hero that has pretty much dictated the storylines of EU versus NA. It's a fight breaking out, and Dark Potato's out of position, goes down without a hitch, but it will be Xenotech going down. Keanu Nakoa able to find a fight. In fact, he's taking it to Iraqi. Hundor's going forward. The gold miner getting involved as Keanu Nakoa finds himself a double kill. It's Hundor charging forward, the missiles flying, the movement speed, and that is a kill for Hundor. They turn that right around.
Yeah, all those item advantages that we lauded right out the window on that one. The positioning was just absolutely horrid from GankStars. We had no fountain on either side, but at the end of that one, Keanu's able to pick it up. But like, they go in for it, fine. Yeah, Dark Potato, sure, but Xenotech misses on his hit right there. Keanu just moves forward, gets the hit, and Iraqi goes right into the sigil. Keanu's just going to have a field day with this one. Rekt's going to come all the way back home, but there's not much he can do with that glaive, and he just gets chased down because those curveballs coming out from Keanu, the speed up from the sigil, are just really just too much to handle at that point. So GankStars got to tighten that up.
You said that Keanu Nakoa would be the bread and butter of G2's success in this game. A double kill early. He certainly abused a mistake there from GankStars, and it has held the ship together for now for G2.
Now. Yeah, for now. We'll have to see again if they do weather that storm. Into like 2-item Dark Potato, like once he gets into the thick of things, he's going to be real hard to deal with. But if you can't get to that point, then it does not matter whatsoever. Keanu with the double kill has Fountain, gets into the 2 O cards, so his heals are very potent at this stage again.
Going to just place them on top of whoever Xenotech wants to kill. Xenotech level 6, Yummy Cabinet Frenzy, ready for a treat. And he's going to be looking for a priority target. There is a reflex block on Hundor. There isn't one on anyone else, so something to keep in mind that Xenotech could be blocked up if he goes for the carry of G2.
All right, so if Hundor's not going to be the target, it's really hard to say who gets the second choice on that one. Dark Potato is going to be a durable old man, but Keanu has such self-sustain on top of things. Good timing can still work out, especially if you can get Hundor to blow it out early or just even straight up mistime it, but they're not good targets. Let's just put it that way. Xenotech really wants to make sure he's on top of Hundor with these, and they got to make sure it doesn't get blocked.
176 gold each. GankStars starting to pull ahead, 1,000 roughly into the lead. The gold for them is crucial. A very early game composition drafted. Gwen thrives early, Koshka thrives early, whereas Hundor and Dark Potato with these late game picks can really turn things around.
Okay, and that's a big spike here for G2. They have done very well for themselves early on, even with that kill lead. Might be a tad behind in gold, but Eva harvests for the Potato, and Hundor comes out with that Sorrow Blade. It's going to be even Iraqi to it here.
Level 6s out in force, just these captains lacking. Xenotech looking to go in. Oh, that's a huge knockback. Dark Potato gets destroyed, and that's not even a fountain from Keanu. Silence comes through. It is going to be G2 looking to return the damage, but no fountain from Keanu Nakoa was so crucial for killing Dark Potato so easily.
Yeah, that fountain not coming out is definitely a problem.
It's going to be a re-engage. Rex coming in looking for Hundor. That's going to be him burst on. Hundor getting burst down. This time the fountain does not keep him alive, and GankStars played that smoothly.
It looked like Hundor might even weather that storm there, but as soon as Iraqi got that hit off, the tension bow really showed that he can start cleaving through these targets very nicely. So Keanu missed out a fountain, doesn't get a save on the other. It's going to get hit here, and Iraqi chunks him.
As the portal will be safe, he's just going to kiss his way goodbye as he
Maybe.
just baits them away. It's a bit of fun on the stage, but you know, it's all fun and games until you start falling behind here for G2. GankStars have been showing consistently that they can play their team compositions to great success.
All right, Iraqi does get that Sorrow Blade now, 8 minutes in. It's about where you do want it. I was expecting a bit earlier with that early just setup, but unfortunately the execution did fail from it there. But Keanu did have a reflex in the last fight. It's the only reason that it did not really just go all to shambles here for G2. He's upgraded that now to a Crucible. Dark Potato comes back with a reflex, and Hundor already had his there as well. They are showing massive respect to the 1-2-3 punch combo we have available to GankStars.
But now another threat to be reflex blocked. It is, of course, that Atlas, which will shut down the attack speed of Hundor and really make things difficult for him to deal with. He's going to have to consider, do I block up the Yummy Captain Frenzy? Well, of course, that's what you want to, but afterburn's priority targets now an Atlas, and of course the ace is high from Iraqi Zoro. There's a lot of things to consider in this game.
Well, that's exactly how Dark Potato got erased in the last fight. It was the afterburn into the ace, which just up the sleeve, yeah, that was, you know, locking him down. 2, 3, 4 seconds, you can't do anything.
Rex dives in, Dark Potato pops his reflex. It does look like G2 won the fight. Keanu Nakoa going deep. That's a lot of damage going down to Rex as Silence comes through. There's a Valkyrie right onto Iraqi. Fountain comes through and Dark Potato has to escape. Hundor now on the front line trying to dance his way backwards. And it is going to be G2 starting to heal up inside that sigil. It is the advantage they have, and Rex will not be able to go back to base. G2 health bars are definitely there for them, but they still have to be very careful of the engage potential.
All right, so if this is going to be a siege, like Wrecked is definitely going to be on the back foot of this one, but he's going to try anyways.
Yeah, Yummy Company Frenzy's available. They're going to dive forward straight on towards the back line. Bright Bulwark means he can't dive forwards. Inatech will be shut down, and Hundor going to get that healing. Keanu Nakoa is now out of energy. This is pretty much the end of the line. All trains stop here. Terminated as Xenotech looks to go deep. Will not commit, but he's going to go back in. And oh, Keanu, the block. He can't get away. Oh, maybe he can. Hundor, though, he's in a lot of trouble. That's going to be Xenotech trying to find a target. Oh, he's been rooted, but they don't go for him. GankStars decide against it. Dark Potato putting on a brave face, and G2 going to weather that storm.
GankStars made the best of a bad situation. Not quite the kill, but they've stopped the siege, and Gwen is going to come out with that Shiv. It will actually still be a weapon. Carrie, to pick that one up here, I was curious to see if maybe Glaive was going to be the one to get it here on that captain roll, but Keanu's healing has to get countered out. 3
damage items for Iraqi Zoro. He is storming ahead with his build so far, and Hundor is not quite there, being forced into defense very early, optimizing for a Aegis now to try and halt the damage that Xenotech is bringing to this game. That means that the damage spikes for G2 only get pushed further back forecourt, and if GankStars can continue early aggression, then they're going to have a fun time.
Okay, so we got some infusions now out here as well. Xenotech gets his. I could have sworn we saw one on top of the Gwen, but perhaps my eyes doth deceive me there. But still, you get these infusions. It's about that time for prime use.
G2 in trouble. Keanu Nakoa lays down the Bright Bulwark, but it is going to be an engage coming through. Blocked up with a Crucible from Keanu Nakoa. The team-wide reflex now used up, though, on a 40-second cooldown. GankStars starting up this gold miner. They're baiting G2 to fight them. That's going to be infusions coming out though from both members of G2, and Rek trying to find an afterburn. Kiana Nakoa taking lots of damage, but the wait for it, silence goes on to Araki. They go forward, but the damage is there. Vainglory stuns up, but can they get the kill? No, they cannot. Araki gonna find one. Araki right through, and that is just one more to go. It's a rhyme, and they can playground bully him. Just wait it all out. Dark Potato, he will struggle to escape, and he will eventually, as soon as his health bar falls, go down. An ace comes through for GankStars.
You can see the survivability, and that's why they have this rhyme, but unfortunately they're just not to the position where they can use it to make those kind of late plays. So turret down, ace comes through, GankStars looking great, and Wrecked and this Atlas has not been blocked once yet.
Gold payout, that's the gold miner going over. They steal a turret, and they get the entirety of those back camps there for core. Immense amount of gold going over to GankStars as they pull ahead about 5,000 at this 13-minute mark. One more game and they find themselves in the finals of this unified Western Live Championship.
Yeah, this will kill the chances of G2 going any farther in this, and EU dies at the semis, but they still got to get there. I mean, this is still not over for G2. We saw last game, they were several thousand goal behind. They were still able to make plays. And as time goes on, Dark Potato's going to get better at this point. Hunter's going to get better, but they got to tighten up.
Another fight breaking out. That's Ace's high. Kiana Nakoa struggling to survive, and he cannot. Araki blows him up. Dark Potato, Vainglory onto himself, but he just cannot do it, and he will fall as well. Hundor, last man remaining, trying to escape Wrecked. Last time this was the scenario, Wrecked just 1v1'd him, just baiting him out, taunting them down. GankStars looking to take another turret.
Keanu got off a Crucible, and that was it. It did not do anything to stop out the crowd control that came through. Araki immediately with the ace on top of that deprives the team of that Fountain, deprives the team of that Atlas, and they just fell to pieces.
This Koshka pick has been so great for GankStars, just consistently doing work. Look at Kiana Nakoa full court, completely blown out.
All right, yeah, it just, again, with that ace, he finally gets the Crucible, but it's way too late. He gets knocked around, he gets hit by the ace, the Crucible comes through, and it's not enough. No Fountain, no Atlas meant the rest of the team, again, they just kind of fell to the pieces. And that is just not a good sign for this mid game. You know, the last round, they were able to make some pretty great comeback plays, but I mean, Dark Potato's still struggling for a second item at 14 minutes.
He is struggling indeed. 0-5-1, been involved in one of the 3 kills his team has. Just hasn't been having the impact that a Rhyme needs to do against these melee heroes. Rhett, he is currently looking for a flanked pay whilst GankStars come around the other side. They've got G2 stuck between them all. Bright Bulwark may stop the re-engage. The turret is not going to go down, and G2 now struggling in the fight. That's a good Vainglory. It's a lot of damage. They're chasing onto Araki, but can they get the kill? Ace is high, gonna stun Hundor up, and Xenotech finds the kill. It's Dark Potato trying to do the damage, but this Koshka is just insane. And Kiana Nakoa, last man standing. They're cracking alive, but GankStars do not care. They're pushing the choke.
Crystal jungles are really Xenotech's jam right now. Like the Kestrels earlier today, now this Koshka 100% win rate is no lie, and coming into this one, it's looking like he will keep that mechanic, but with that broken myth on top of things, he has not fallen off. He is still really relevant for the damage, and we're just kind of, we're chilling. Yeah, Keanu, there's actually no need to really spend anything into this. Rek just to make sure he can't go anywhere.
He can't escape, and Kiana Nakoa knows it. This is disastrous for G2 unless he is...
The charms are amazing.
He knows that he's dead. I don't know if he's like waiting for the portal and he's just going to go for it, but there it is. He goes over. Xenotech's there, and this is just Keanu going down. That is a 30-second death timer with the Kraken now live.
Amazing,
the stagger on the death timers is incredible. G2 now have to deal without their captain for 25 seconds.
That is no Fountain, no Crucible, no Atlas. If this is not a Kraken attempt, then I don't know what GankStars game is. But with this big advantage, there absolutely has to be this push going through.
Fourth damage item there for Araki Zoro. It is just a dominant performance. 10,000 almost there for them at this point, and G2 know they can't contest this Kraken. Kiana Nakoa finally respawns, but as he does, the Kraken is unleashed onto the fold.
10,000 1,000 gold is just about the difference between these teams. You're looking at 16, almost 17 minutes in. You're quadrupling the kills. GankStars took control minute 1, and they have not given up any of these advantages. Just keeping Keanu away from these fights, away from his team. The synergy has been completely broken from G2.
Hundo doesn't even have his third damage item. He is 2 behind the position of Iraqi Zoro, with the Kraken pushing in, and with GankStars' record of 2 turrets per Kraken push, this is good. Seemingly the end of the line for Europe, unless a miracle is here in London. Keanu Nakoa going to dive forward onto Iraqi Zoro, but the ace is high, going to stun Hundo up. He is struggling to escape, and escape he will not. Keanu Nakoa trying to escape, but he can't. It's a double for Iraqi, looking for a triple onto this carry, and right fours. Iraqi needed to step up, and step up he did. Say hello to GankStars, your first finalists here in London.
GG.
An incredible performance from GankStars there. All members of the team stepping up for court, and they stepped up huge. They have had the hardest route to finals out of any of our semi-finalist teams, but the routes they took, the path less traveled, and they are making it there. North America will be in the finals.